Alright, very good evening, YouTube and Twitch fans out there. From Captain Nabs, welcome back to the flight deck, or at least back to the aircraft anyways, back to the flight simulator. We're not quite in the flight deck yet, but we are going to be getting another leg today done of my Twitch stream of a pilot's life. And just excuse me 1 second, apparently my charging cord here sucks. So I'm going to just replace this right here real quick. Just give me 1 second. But welcome to, anyways, another, as I said, another episode of A Pilot's Life here on Twitch. It's been way too long, and I have actually tried to do it now in the past little while here, where I've tried to get a stream underway, and it just, one thing after another seems to have gotten in my way. Alright, so first things first, before I do anything else, let's go ahead and put me back up there. Hey everybody, welcome to the stream. Thank you guys so much for coming. So, like I said, it's been a long time since we streamed here. I'm just trying to think now, and I don't even know offhand, but I think it's been probably, again, about 2 to 3 weeks. I tried to do this leg twice so far now. I tried to do it once, and, oh, for crying out loud. Why are people still emailing me here? Sorry about that. There, I've silenced my phone's notifications now. Yeah, so I tried to do it once, and the sim crashed about halfway to Ottawa, which is very frustrating. Then I was going to do it last week, but of course Microsoft had dropped their Sim Update 5, which of course broke the CRJ, and it took them a good week for Microsoft, pretty much almost a week for them to release the hotfix, and then about another 4 or 5 days after that before Aerosoft was able to release their fix for the CRJ to get it working again. So there were 2 big things that happened with the CRJ for those that don't have it. One is that the HUD got stuck down. You couldn't retract it back up, and I'm not a big fan of flying with the HUD. It's just not me. I'm not used to it, so I don't use it a lot. But then the other thing that also happened was that the speed was completely unusable. So the PFD, the speed resolution, basically had updated about once every 5 seconds, so the speed tape would just jump constantly, and it was absolutely not really flyable as an aircraft. So it was a real disappointment, because I had the time actually last week to stream, and of course then it just fell apart because the sim was not in a suitable condition, which is very frustrating, and I might rant on about that later. But for now, we're going to try and get this stream underway. So it's been long overdue. I'm happy to finally have a chance to go out and do it. So thank you guys so much for joining me this evening. Please feel free to ask any questions in the chat as we go ahead, but otherwise we're going to get this stream underway here. So today, what we're going to do, as I kind of hinted at already, is we're going to do the next leg of my pilot's life career here, which is we are going to fly from Chicago O'Hare. In case you didn't recognize the airport that we're sitting at right there, we're going to be flying from Chicago O'Hare all the way up to Ottawa, Ontario here. So it's about an hour and a half flight. Should be about 2 hours of flight time once we kind of get going here. And there's some good ATC online tonight, which is a little surprising. I wasn't expecting that, but it's great. So I want to kind of get this underway before the ATC disappears on me. Yeah, so it's been a busy couple of weeks. There have been some good things that have happened for the sim. It was kind of quiet for the first few weeks, but the last little while there's been a lot of stuff that's kind of happened in the sim, and I'd love to talk about it. But first, let's get this show on the road. So if we can go ahead and hop in the flight deck here, and we can start to get this show on the road. We've got a couple of things we're going to do here. As always, we're going to have self-loading cargo here. And I don't know what happened to it here. It was running here, and I think it might be, yeah, that's why, because I had to restart the sim. So I have to restart FSUIPC. I had to restart the sim just because the Chicago FS Dream Team scenery needed an update. So yeah, so I had to restart the sim, so that's why it's not working. So we've got all this. We've got these guys here ready to go. So let's go ahead and start this flight here in my self-loading cargo. And then I basically have to do a few things here to get this thing sort of going here. So of course, as always, I've got to start off with my track IR, so give me 1 moment here. Alright, that's better. That should, there we go. Now we can look around, and I think I unmuted it. Yes, still good here. Alright, so we're in the aircraft. We're going to get ourselves all set up to go here. And one other thing that has changed is that FS2 crew has updated their Pushback Express, and now it's this tiny little bar here, which is very unobtrusive, which is kind of nice. Let's see here. I have to do this. That's what I have to do, and then I can go jetway, and I can bring over the jetway The doors should be already open. Yeah, the door's already open, so I don't know why the jetway actually retracted a little while ago. I had the jetway on the aircraft and it retracted, so... what are you doing there, jetway? Here it comes, okay. So there it goes. So it's coming our way. I can just sort of shrink this back down so it's not obtrusive, and we can go ahead and do a quick flow through, overhead flow, to make sure the aircraft's ready to be powered up. So the electrics are all off, the generators are all on, hydraulics are all off. And let's see, landing gear levers down, the speed brakes stowed, the condition levers are all at cutoff, or the fuel power levers are at cutoff, the flaps are at 0, and the ADG landing gear are not been pulled and the flaps are in the normal position, the brake is on. We can go ahead and turn on the battery. And we can also make sure we have, oh, I thought we already put the ground power on. I think the airplane's been sitting here for a little while, so I guess some of the stuff got removed automatically by the sim somehow. So there we go. Anyways, it's there it is, electrical power. So we got the AC power on. We'll go ahead and get the nav lights on, and we'll go ahead and get the recirc fan on. We'll get the no smoking sign on. We'll test the emergency lights. It says they're on, and then we can put them to armed. And the last thing we need to do as the power-up flow here is just make sure the IRSs are in nav mode and they're ready to go. Alright, and then while we are getting set up, we can ask our crew to board us. I'm just sort of checking how the volume sounds.
Hi,
sounds okay.
It's Sophie at L1.
There we go. Self-loading cargo, so the volume sounds okay. So, we can get that underway, and we can get ourselves set up for this flight here. So, my target is to be airborne at, or at least off the gate, not airborne, but off the gate at 0130 Zulu, which is about 20 minutes from now. Now, one thing you'll notice in the sim here is that I don't have the clocks aligned correctly here. That clock's not even close to right. I thought I set this to about the time it was, but 3 hours earlier. So I set this to about 3 hours earlier than it is in the sim. Yeah, it's actually pretty close. There we go. Oop. Just tinker with it ever so slightly if I could just sort of get it to the right. If I make this bigger, can I? Oh yeah, there we go. That'll make it a little easier to... Should be 5:10. So this is about 3 hours early. But the reason being I want to do this flight in daylight. Otherwise we'd be doing it basically in the dark. And honestly, streaming this sim in the dark is not great. And I have some great Ottawa scenery I want you guys to see. So yeah, they're going to start boarding here. Yeah, we got those guys there, and while I'm at it here, just to make it look realistic from the outside, we can also, just do that. There we go. We can call for the bags and the fuel truck, because we might need some fuel actually here. Alright, so I can toggle that panel so it's a lot smaller, and we can get into what we're actually going to do here, which is, of course, to start programming the FMS for our flight here. So I did update the database 12th of August to 9th September of this year. That is good, with the date being today, the 17th of August. So let's do the position init real quick here. Page 2. And I have not flown this plane a whole lot recently, so if I'm kind of just sort of hunting a little bit for things, I apologize. Like I said, I haven't flown this plane much in the last little while. It's just been very busy, and I actually flew the plane today just to sort of make sure it was all kind of working hunky-dory, but otherwise I haven't flown it much lately. So we got that. So let's go ahead and go KORD. Nope, that didn't work. RD to CYOW. So Chicago O'Hare to Ottawa. Our alternate today is going to actually be back to Toronto because it's a chance of some drizzle and low ceilings in Montreal, which would normally be our alternate. So we're actually going to come back to Toronto if we need an alternate. And our flight number today is SkyWest 5480, I believe. I'm just going to pull up my flight plan on the other screen here, but I believe it's SkyWest 5480s. Let's just check you out here. Let's see. Nope, I thought I had it up. I don't even have it up, but yes, it is SkyWest 5480 is our flight today. Alright, so our routing to... let's see here, actually. So we do have ATC up to date in Chicago, and we do have Chicago ATIS, so I'm just going to check the ATIS here. Let's see, departures 9 Charlie from Fox Fox, 9 Center from Fox Fox, and 10 left from Delta Delta. So I'm going to go with probably 9 Center. That's my guess without having read my clearance. And actually, I do have a clearance here. Yeah, they don't have a runway assignment in it, as is typical in America, so 9 center is the plan. There is no, it's a vector SID, it's a very straight up vector SID, so there's no RNAV waypoints on it, so let's go ahead and waypoints, and let's go ahead and set this whole thing up here. So it shouldn't take more than a couple minutes, and one thing I will have to do, I didn't think about doing it tonight, but now I'm just thinking about it, is I should check the, see how well the flight plan import works now, now that we've iterated through a few more versions of the Aerosoft CRJ. I found it wasn't very good before. It created duplicate waypoints. It didn't seem to import very well, so I kind of didn't do it. But like I said, there's been a few versions since, so maybe they've done some tweaks to the flight plan loading system. So Patty and then Salem. Oh, I have the wrong call. I have the wrong cabin announcements going. I have the cabin announcements for Canada going because I did an Air Canada flight earlier today. I did a Jazz flight, so I didn't even look at what was in self-loading cargo there. I didn't reset it, so that was my mistake. Oh well. You guys will just have to live with bilingual announcements today. Alright, then MyVOC. This is almost the end of the flight plan here, so we're already almost done programming it in here. And then, oh, the fuel truck's here. Okay, so let's deal with you. So let's just go ahead and just pause this for a second, and then I'm going to look over at my fuel load, which is kind of high for this flight, but it's because, as I said, we actually have a pretty far alternate of Toronto, and we're bringing about 30 minutes of extra gas, just because of the chance for some lower ceilings in the Ottawa and Montreal area. So 12,000, oops, yeah, we'll do about 12,200, that should do it. And then we can just bring ourselves back here. Woo! There we go. Alright, and back to setting this up here. So departure, arrival. So we're going to do arrival in Ottawa. It's the Capital 5 departure, MyVOC transition. And I don't even know what to expect for arrival in Ottawa. The winds right now 0603. So straight in ILS 07 is the best one to plan because it kind of hits all the restrictions. And then if we end up not needing if we end up not needing to go down that fast, then it's okay. So it works out quite well. So let's do that. So yeah, let's just make sure that's in there. So after Salem, Q907 at Durlow, MyVOC, and then Capital 5. It didn't seem to quite do it correctly there. So let me just have a look at the waypoints that are on here. MyVOC, and then yeah, so MyVOC's here. So let's just go back and bring that back up here and close that gap. So after MyVOC, Durlow, after Durlow, MyVOC, Can Atlantic, Visol. Yes, that's okay. And then Visol again. So I'm going to bring that Visol up there. So Visol is also the initial fix for the approach. It's also the end of the star. So I'm just going to bring that right up, close the whole thing out right now, and it'll be nice and closed out for when we actually get there. If we have to go straight in, it's the VNAV planning should work, which is the other important thing in this case. So I'm going to plan us for a 0.77 Mach number in cruise. Oh, I didn't actually put our perf-init data in there. So let's just do perf first of all, and we'll just do 46 degrees as our flex temp. Then we can do perf-init. All right, and now we're going to do just a quick performance here. So I believe we had 74 people, which this one is configured for 70, so be it. So we'll set the payload in the simulator, and then we should knit the fuel from the aircraft. Why is the fuel not done yet? Is it done? It says we've got, no, it's not done yet, so it's still going. It's still got a bit to go. But we can copy the perf-init data to the FMS, and then it's already there. The passengers, the ZFW, it's just a little easier sometimes to do it that way. I mean, I could definitely scroll back and forth from one screen to the other. It wouldn't be a problem, but anyways, flight level 370 is the final today. So flight level 370, and if we have to go to our alternate, just looking at the other screen here, we need flight level 340 to go to Toronto. So it's a fairly far alternate. It's farther than what I'd normally choose, but like I said, there's a chance of some drizzle, some low 700-foot ceilings. I do actually have the numbers to go to Montreal as an alternate. So if it looks bad when we get to Ottawa, we can go to Montreal, but it's just a question of it's just a question of making sure we have enough fuel to go to a really good alternate. So it's still warm out there. ISA +9 at cruise, and 238 at 54 is going to be the average wind across our flight today. So we'll put that in there. And done. Alright, so the aircraft is basically all set up and ready to go. The only thing I didn't do is I feel like I'm way too, there we go, high here. Is I did not set all of our speeds. So V1 is going to be 135, VR 135, V2 144, and VFTO is 196, V2 plus 10 is 154. So there we go, we got V2 plus 10 set initially, and there we go. Nose wheel steering's off. We don't need any of the wipers. We'll just test the stall system really quickly here. So that shakes, and we do get the continuous ignition on as well. And actually, I'm sorry, I'm starting over there, and I really should be starting over here on the overhead panel to make sure everything is set up properly. Fire extinguisher test, yep. That's all good. The nav lights are on. We don't need any other lights right now. The fuel pumps we don't need on yet. The crossflow is closed. Bleeds are normal and auto. The APU will start momentarily here. The hydraulics, we can test those and make sure that they are functioning properly. So bring up the hydraulic window. And we should have 3,000 PSI across the board. We do. We can go ahead and put them all back to auto except for 3A, which we just leave on right now all the way through till when we start the aircraft. Alright, cabin pressurization, Ottawa's field elevation, I believe, is 380. If I remember correctly. I haven't been there for a little while, but it's something in that neighborhood anyways. 260. Yeah, I could bring up the screen and look at it there too, but alright, I'll do one more click and then it's good. Get those packs turned on for when the APU comes on. Windshield heat is on, and this thing feels really sensitive. I don't know what it is, but it feels extremely sensitive today. Normally it's not like this. Normally it's not sensitive like this. So just give me 1 second. I'm just going to pop open the track IR here really quickly and just see what's going on because it feels extremely sensitive. There we go. Okay, so now I've got, let me just resync this thing here.
Over here, Unica, Spirit 992, taxiing to runway 210 left.
And somebody's actually on Unicom. You should probably be talking to center. Okay, so now it's a little bit too... I also feel like this sensor is just in the wrong spot here. It needs to be more aimed directly to where I am most of the time here, so... And aircraft taxiing to depart Chicago. You should be probably talking to Chicago Center on 20.35.
Roger that, thank you.
Alright, so we got the windshield heat on. Just a quick ice detect test. This is a little bit too little. I'm going to have to play with this another day. It's not. I'm going to do it now, but ADS heat test okay. Alright, so lights are good. We don't need any other lights. Fueling should be done by now. 12:20, there we go. So we can go ahead and get the seatbelt sign on, and as well we can get we can make sure that we init the fuel. Actually, no, the fuel should be initted already. Let's see here. Perf init. Yeah, the fuel. No, it didn't really init. It's also. There we go. Now the fuel is properly set. All right. And so the overhead panel's done. We did the stall test already. Or does that seem really low? There used to be a hotspot where if you clicked on this, it would bring it up, but it doesn't seem to do that anymore. So, okay, I guess a lot of us have to sit where it is. There's stuff that's changed about the way the simulator functions and the way and everything. So it's very kind of frustrating now. Like I'm still finding things, and I'll show you some of the tricks that I did learn since the Sim Update 5, but Microsoft changed a lot of stuff in Sim Update 5, and I'm not against changing stuff, but they just didn't really tell anybody either. They just sort of left people just to flounder and figure it out, and that's probably the most annoying part of the update, was that like things like interfaces changed, like the buttons changed, and they defaulted everybody over to the Xbox style interface. They didn't tell anybody. They didn't tell anybody how to change it back. You know, everyone had to sort of figure it out just by going on forums and reading it. A couple people figured it out, but they, you know, if you're going to make a huge change like that, tell people. Oh my god. How does one learn how to play this game, or is it just for real-life pilots? You can watch me. You can there's lots of ways to learn. I'll be honest. So Microsoft has included checklists for a lot of their basic aircraft that come with the sim, so you can learn. Overheat fail. You can learn how to fly the aircraft, the more basic aircraft, just by following the checklist that Microsoft provides. So they provide a checklist here that's actually really good. It's not for this aircraft because this is a add-on aircraft, but their default aircraft have a checklist. It's actually really good. Like if you click on one of the items, if you don't know where it is, it'll show you in the flight deck where that item is. It'll kind of highlight it in blue, so at least you can find it. For this aircraft, the best way to learn it is read the manual, and Aerosoft has published official tutorials to go for this aircraft. I can't remember where they published them. I think there's a link to them in the Aerosoft forum anyways, but Aerosoft published official video tutorials put together by an actual CRJ pilot. So someone who actually knows this airplane and knows it well put together the tutorials, and they're very good for teaching a lot of the basic aspects of how to operate this airplane. They're not perfect, but those in combination with reading the manual will really help you a lot, and the checklist as well, which I have here, and this is directly from their manual as well. So the checklist really kind of walks you through most of the steps. It won't tell you where the things are, so it kind of helps to see the tutorial video to learn where things are, but the checklist will walk you through all the steps you need as well. So I'm just going to pop this out. Pre-flight in the aircraft here. I just need to test the trim system and make sure that it works here, and it's very hard for me to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just, there we go, pause that because I can't even see the screen because I'm trying to turn my head in an awkward direction to make track IR work. There we go, that's much easier to do. And then we can turn this, just make sure the rudder trim does move off center, and then we can center it again. Okay, perfect. Alright, and I believe that's all in there. Now, Chicago gave us a clearance here, pre-departure clearance. SkyWest 5480. Squawk is 1313, so let's get that in there while we're at it, before I have a chance to forget. 1313. There we go. That's in there. CRJ7, flight level 370, Chicago, eBake, Wismo, Post, Patty, Salem, Q907, Durlo, Myvok, Capital 5 is exactly what we got. Cleared the O'Hare 6, except maintain 5,000, jets maintain 250 knots until advised. Contact departure frequency 120.35, and expect runway assignment on ready taxi service pre-departure clearance. You do not need to read back or reply. So there we go. So we got our pre-departure clearance, and that is Chicago Center on 2035. So we're going to also bring up his frequency so we can talk to him when we're ready to taxi. 2035. Come on. Winding this knob around sometimes can be really a pain in the butt. I really kind of want to get an MCP proper mode control panel and be able to tune frequencies that way. That'd be really sweet. Oh yes, I have lots of rich fantasies. Anyways. Okay, I believe we've got just about everything, so let's go ahead. The fueling is done.
Chicago, Blue 7, climbing 10,000, direct to Butte.
Blue 7, Chicago Center, good evening, climb maintain level 380.
Okay, so Chicago is there, which is great.
Level 3 to Blue 7.
Army 1961, runway 10, taxi via Lima, Golf, Foxtrot, advised ready for departure.
Okay, so I think I got everything
Lima,
set
Golf,
up, so let's do a quick
Foxtrot
departure briefing here. So today
we'll
we're in
call when ready for
Chicago
departure.
O'Hare. We're going to taxi out from, let's see here. Alright, so we're somewhere over here, Gate Golf 3, it's somewhere, yeah, there it is, Golf 3. I'm expecting 9 center from Fox. So I'm expecting we're going to go out Alpha 14.
We're actually
going to go Alpha and then probably Alpha 7, Tango 7 to Tango, Hotel, and Fox to get to 09 center and Fox.
Continue taxi via
The departure today is the O'Hare 6 departure.
Alpha 15, Alpha to the gate.
Let's see here. O'Hare 6 departure. So this is on plate 20-3, effective 5th of November of 2020. Speed restriction, all turbojet departures in all directions, maintain 250 knots in November. This guy seems really not noisy, loud to me, so I'm gonna turn him
Yeah,
way
we make the
down.
right on November, and to answer your question from earlier, our scenery, I guess, is a little bit outdated.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop talking over these guys quite so much. I should have tuned in this frequency quite so soon, I guess.
November, correction, Alpha 15, Alpha 8 has
There we go. Okay, so it's a little quieter anyways. All turbojets in all directions maintain 250 knots until advised by ATC. Radar is required. Use frequency to pick one in the first fix. Well, we're going to use the 2035 anyways for the Chicago told us to use. And basically for all aircraft, expect radar vectors first en route navigate or fix. Expect clearance to requested altitude flight level 10 minutes after departure. Top altitude is 5,000. Cross 5.5 GCO arc at or above 3,000 with 8.5 arc at or above 4,000 and maintain 5,000 is assigned if unable to comply as soon as practicable. Notify ATC as soon as practicable after departure. So we do have let's see here. We do have 5,000 feet set. The one thing I haven't actually set there is the runway heading, so let's just make sure we got that set. It's 093, as I recall, from flying into Chicago many times. 093, and actually what we're going to do is we're going to change from FMS mode to nav mode and make sure we have GCO up. So that's the one thing. Actually, I should have looked at the frequency before I closed it. GCO is 108.25. So make sure we have 108.25 ready to go. We do, and we've got the DME readout. So 5.5 with 3 and 8.5 with 4. So we got all those, and that's basically it. Terrain 3600 around Chicago. We'll get clear everything, including the Sears Tower, or whatever it's known as now. The weather is a beautiful day here, no problems here. Operational, no MELs, and let's just have a quick look at the NOTAMs here. There we go. NOTAMs. Lots of stuff for the airport, lots of closed taxiways and things like that. I'm not going to worry about that too much as long as we have accessible runways. The runways aren't closed, and the SIDS. Any amendments to the SIDS? No amendments to the SIDS. So those are the things that'll affect us. So I think we're good. So with that in mind, let's do quickly the before start checklist. Passenger signs panel is on. Landing elevation 380 feet is set. Altimeters 3000 inches set and cross-checked, indicating 680 feet. FMS is checked and set. IRSs are aligned and nav. And the radios and nav aids we've also set. And the takeoff briefing is complete. The before start checklist is complete. We can go ahead and close the door and do this whole thing here. What we can do here is, let's see here. So let's first of all get ready to cockpit to ground.
Go ahead, flight deck. 1 is ready for departure.
We'll be ready in a minute.
Foxtrot. Roger.
Takeoff Lima Sierra Oscar Observer, turning northbound.
That'll pull off the bridge, hopefully, in a second here. And that'll also bring the tug over to push us back. And there goes the bridge, so we can go ahead
Oscar traffic 12 o'clock, less than a mile, level 330.
Close the door, we can take off the GPU, we can close all the other doors.
The cabin is secure, all passengers are aboard.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, Golf Lima
Alright,
Sierra
and
Oscar
we
proceed
can,
direct
as long as the
to
parking brake is on,
Charlie
yes, we can also
Romeo
remove
Lima.
the chocks.
At that point, you are free to get up and move.
Alright, and we are ready to start our pushback. So, it's kind of nice. It's a lot smaller, so you can have it here in the corner of your screen, the Pushback Express, and you can see stuff with it. One neat thing they did as well is they have this assist button here, so it'll show you, if you want, always what the command you're waiting for is. So if you forget the exact command that it's waiting for, you can just quickly turn that on. If you don't want to see it, you can always just close the panel, but it's kind of a nice little hint there. So, clear to start checklist. Personal electronic devices are off. APU is on. Electrics are
Okay, clear for takeoff. 10
checked,
will remain outside
and
the
takeoff
airspace.
data is set. Doors are closed and locked. It should be. Yeah, everything's closed. Everything's green. Beacon is on. Fuel pumps are on. And hydraulic pumps are auto on. Parking brake. We'll remove in a second. Transponder's going on.
Minneapolis Center on 125.3.
We are ready for pushback and engine start. See, read what it says right there.
Roger. Release the parking brakes, please.
125.3.
Brakes are released.
Pushing back.
And see, it gives you the options. So there's all sorts of stuff. There's multiple choices, multiple things you can actually say, and it kind of tells you all the different things you can say. So I like Pushback Express more and more. The more I'm using it now, the more I like it.
With the rest of the crew, we'll be making our way around the comet.
Are we clear to start engine 2?
We're not anticipating any delays, so we should be arriving on time at our destination. The guys on the ground have just
Chicago
told us
Center
they're
rises
finishing
kind of
the final bits of luggage into the aircraft, so we should be on our way very shortly.
And that's some
We
loaded
are,
cargo
however,
there,
waiting
giving a little
to receive clearance
briefing
to
to the
push back and
passengers.
start before we taxi to the runway. If you could help the cabin crew by getting yourself sat comfortable with seatbelts fastened, that would be fantastic. Once everyone, we'll be starting our flight soon.
Almost there, and actually
Flight 7 arrival, air landing east, altimeter 3000.
Attention cabin crew, prepare for
20%, we got 20% on there, so I'm kind of doing a whole bunch of things at once. I'm controlling the pushback and controlling the engine start at the same time. So I know I might have done it the wrong way. I'm trying to make him pull us now, and I have to push the control column in there. Alright, so it starts looking pretty good. There we go.
Hi, Captain. The cabin is secure.
We want to be on that line, so I'm trying to do two things at once. I'm trying to control the push and control the start, neither of which I'm doing a very good job at by themselves, but we'll get there. The trouble with the push is that it's kind of an all or nothing again. This is the Aerosoft CRJ. I'll show you the outside in a second. I'm just trying to do all sorts of things at once here. So. Doing the fuel check here. Alright, that's good enough. Stop, pushback.
4550 Chicago Center. Roger, climb, maintain 12000, the Rockford altimeter 3001.
Alright, so we've got the left low fuel pressure light.
Brakes, please.
That's what we're looking for, so we can put the fuel pumps back on. And we can go ahead and start engine 1.
Chicago Center, United 3547, 120310.
Brakes are set.
3547 Chicago Center, Roger.
Roger. Okay.
Army
Tobar
1961,
is
verify your
disconnected
transponder
and
set to
equipment is
mode C,
clear.
please.
We will see you on the right-hand side with the pin.
Thanks, you can revert to hand signals. Thanks, and you can revert to hand signals.
Army 1961,
Thanks, and you can
Chicago
revert to
Center.
hand signals.
Thanks. Have a good flight. See you later.
Here we go.
1961 Chicago Center.
And the other neat thing is the Pushback Express will close itself once it's all done pushing us back, so it's not a distraction anymore. Alright, so we've almost got a good 2 starts here. We are flying the Aerosoft CRJ. This is the Aerosoft CRJ 700 right now, and the SkyWest American Eagle fleet
Verify
here.
your transponders on mode C, please. You're within 30 miles of O'Hare.
Roger that. We'll verify mode C.
Alright.
Chicago Center, Alaska 1085 with you. Fly
Looks like
level
we got 2
340.
good starts. So we can go ahead and shut off the APU, make sure the probe heat is on. Arm the thrust reversers. Set the flaps
Alaska
to 8.
1085 Chicago Center, Roger.
Make sure the steering's on and pull out the checklist. Alright, after start checklist. Generators are auto.
Army 1960,
Electric,
one year
sorry,
contact
APU.
passing
No, sorry, I went to the wrong
2400, proceed
checklist here.
direct to
Electrics.
Rockford.
The checklist's too big here. Electrics are checked. Bleed valves are auto and air conditioning is on. APU is shutting down. We'll have it down in a second here. Anti-ice is off. The nose wheel steering is armed. We just need to see the APU reach 0.
East, altimeter
And we can go ahead and
3000.
power the system off, which closes the door. After start checklist is complete. Before we go anywhere, one more check we need to do. Flight control check. Alright, so elevators, ailerons, and the rudder.
Charlie Golf Victor Alpha Lima, level 340.
Alright,
Thanks
and that's
you
complete.
for Omaha,
Back to
unfortunately.
stats. Alright, I'm going to actually center myself a little better over here because this is really where I
I'm
should
sorry, who's
be.
requesting altitude change?
Taxi. Alright, go ahead. All
Golf
clear
Victor,
on the
Oscar,
left.
Roger, what altitude would you like?
Taxi light on. Gave a little
Golf
bit of power and
Victor,
looks like
Oscar,
we're
do your
rolling.
direction
Alright,
of flight, I
excellent.
can't offer 400.
Alright, rolling, rolling, rolling. Alright, So we go to just to the end of the alley, and we'll call the Chicago Center controller.
Can I
I'm
request?
just going to confirm that my transponder is on correctly. It looks like
Delta
it.
Oscar, Oscar, Roger, descend and maintain level 390.
390, Oscar.
And what ATIS do we have here? It was information Juliet. Chicago Center, hello, SkyWest 5480, just coming up short of Alpha at O'Hare, information Juliet, taxi for departure.
SkyWest 5480, Chicago Center, good evening, runway 9er Center at Foxtrot, taxi via Alpha 15, Bravo, Romeo, Golf, Foxtrot, cross, and there's no crossing.
Okay, SkyWest 5480, 9er Center at Foxtrot, taxi out Alpha 15, Bravo, Romeo, Golf, and Foxtrot, double short. Alright, so that's Alpha 15 over there, so we gotta go out Alpha 15, this is Alpha 14 in front of us. So we gotta go out that way, so it's a little bit of a long taxi out here, but that's okay. One thing I gotta make sure of, actually,
1405, Chicago Center, Roger.
Ah, a good thing I looked.
767 requested that one there.
Parker 767, that is
778 Sierra Kilo is what I'm looking for here. There it is. Okay, that's what. So it didn't automatically start for me because. There we go. I had to start tracking my flight here because I did not select the aircraft. Actually, there's one more thing I need to do to make sure. Yeah, this should be tracking because you guys see at the top of the screen there. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Seems like, and maybe it's just me. Seems like it's a little bit the encoding is a little bit behind, and I don't know if that's me, if that's Sim. It looks a little jumpy in the stream there. Honestly, it's quite smooth here in the Sim. I'm doing about 30 frames per second. I mean, it's not the fastest Sim in the world, but it's not too bad. But it's looking a little choppy on the stream there, so I hope it's not too choppy for you guys. I think it's just the nature of the stream. It's going to look a little choppy. A lot of information to send out there, even at just 1280p. So it looks like the stream is healthy. It doesn't look like it's churning up too much CPU power. So I don't know why honestly the frame rate looks fairly low as I'm looking at it here. And I don't know why. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad actually. I think it's just I think it's my streaming software is just actually not showing it at the full frame rate that you guys are looking at. So, anyways. Hopefully it looks okay to you guys. Alright, so we're on Bravo. We're going to follow this around until we get to Romeo, and then Romeo, Golf, Foxtrot. So, let's have a quick look-see here.
That was 4550, advise information, Juliet, expect ILS runway 9 left.
Taxi check, so slats and flaps, we've got 8 set. Flight controls are checked. Trims, green 7.5 units. Thrust reversers are armed. Flight instruments are... We're going pretty fast here, aren't we? We're doing 18. It feels faster because we're going around a turn here. Flight instruments are checked and brake temps are green. The taxi checklist is complete.
Alpha Lima, contact Minneapolis Center 133.4.
Alright, so this is Bravo, and then eventually Romeo just branches off to the left while Bravo continues. And hopefully this FS Dream Team Chicago O'Hare, so hopefully this resembles the actual sim here. What am I trying to say? Hopefully the taxi routes are correct. Surprisingly, I'm not actually running a fantastic graphics card. The graphics card is the oldest thing in my computer. It's a GTX 1060, so I've had it for quite a while now. I've had it for a good 6 or 8 years now. The processor itself, I upgraded it last year to an i9. Last year.
1528, expect runway
2019 maybe. Recently, anyways, I updated it to an i9. I've got 32 gigs of RAM. The Sim's running on a couple of SSDs. The only thing that,
1520, I'm sorry, expect runway 10
if there is a choke point in my system, it is the graphics card right now. And I do plan to update it one day. Honestly, it's not. It works so well. I mean, this sim does an excellent job of taking advantage of whatever you have. So this is where Bravo bears off to the right. We're going to keep going straight ahead. This is Romeo. That's one great thing about the Microsoft Flight Simulator is that it really does a good job of
767 cross Boone at and maintain 1000, the O'Hare altimeter 3000.
maximizing whatever system you've got. So, you know, if you have a slower processor, you turn the settings down a little bit, but it does an excellent job of balancing the load between the CPU and the GPU. Most previous versions, especially Microsoft Flight Simulator and compared, were very CPU intensive.
3547 to send at Palace Discretion, maintain level 240.
And were very CPU intensive, and they really didn't take advantage of the GPU because the architecture for the sim dates back to before anyone really had powerful GPUs.
Maintain 5000.
Now it's a very different. Now it's a very different story. Now most people, the GPU is probably the most powerful chip in their computer. So Microsoft Flight Simulator was well overdue to try and take advantage of that. All right, so this I believe will be golf as we come up here around the corner, and we'll hang a left turn.
FedEx 1405 descend at Palace Discretion, maintain level 240.
Pilot discretion.
Hard to read that sign from here. That says hotel. Hold on a second. I thought he said golf. There's my chart. I love that I can bring my chart up on screen here. That's hotel. Yes, he wanted us on golf, so it's the next taxiway if we turn left on. I love that. One thing you guys may notice that's new in this sim here, if I run my mouse over here, is there's a new button over here next to the Navigraph charts. There's the FS2 Crew Command Center. So FS2 Crew has now released just yesterday, their A320, their fly-by-wire A320 add-on, which adds total
5480 on departure, flighting 070, wind 080 at 7, runway 9er center at Foxtrot, clear for takeoff.
All right, 9er Center cleared for takeoff from Foxtrot. Say again the heading after departure for SkyWest 5480?
SkyWest 5480 heading 070.
Heading 070, got it, thank you. Wasn't quite ready for him to give me the takeoff clearance yet. Yeah, so they just released their fly-by-wire A320 integration, and it integrates directly in here into the sim, so you can control it directly with an in-sim panel, not even with an overlay panel. So I haven't even tried it out yet. I want to, and I'm probably going to, I might try it out tomorrow. I don't know if I'll have time, honestly, but one of these days I'm going to try it out, and I'll definitely have to do a stream of it at some point. I will have to do a review of it at some point, a full-fledged review. To make sure. Okay, so he said we're not crossing 9er right. It's funny, it says 9er right here. This is actually the future. I am in the future right now. In the future, so I'm going to go ahead and turn the strobes on for this because we are crossing the runway.
Information, kilo, expect ILS
in the future, 9 right will extend this far. Right now, it's under construction. This whole area is kind of a bit of a disaster, but the charts have this as a construction zone, so it's not officially part of the runway yet. But FS Dream Team Chicago O'Hare has actually gone into the future and said, what is the final airport supposed to look like when all these runways are done? And that's what they basically created, is what the final effect of those runways should be. Okay, we're almost at the runway, almost ready for takeoff. It only took us like 15-20 minutes to get here from the gate. But alright, there we are. Clear the runway strobe off, and let's go ahead and do before takeoff checklist. So I have to just use my self-loading cargo here, make it PA so the FAs know. And it's a whole bunch of bing bongs. Alright, before takeoff checklist. Lights and strobes. We're going to hold off on the lights. Fuel cross flow is manual. Flight attendants are now advised. Transponder is on.
Air Shuttle 1056, flighting 160 to maintain 5000.
Radar and terrain display is set. CAS is checked. Clear on the left. And we are clear for takeoff, so we got all the lights. The before takeoff checklist is complete. I'm just going to minimize this so it doesn't take up a whole lot of screen space here. Kind of went a little bit far there.
Highway 1961, the Rockford altimeter 3001, expected visual approach for runway 1.
That kind of stalled out there. Crank that around. Alright, and here we go for another leg of a pilot's life.
Highway 1961,
pilot's life sim is, or tracker is running, and that's the important one, so there we go. So here we go. Alright. Check thrust. Thrust is checked.
767, not a problem, just going to maintain 1000.
Roger that, descend maintain 1000.
FedEx 1405, descend by the Turtle 6 arrival, here landing east, altimeter 3000.
Checked.
000 by the Turtle 6, landing east, FedEx
1, rotate.
Gear up, please.
Goes the gear up. Alright, and we're going to go ahead and go heading mode and set the heading to 070.
5480, your radar contact passing 1,400. Climb and maintain flight level 370.
Climb, maintain flight level 370, SkyWest 5480.
SkyWest 4550, descend and maintain 3000.
Speed, we're going to put the autopilot on. It's just too much workload for me to try and keep track of everything here.
Runway 9 left, local Roger.
I'm going to set the speed to 220.
3000, left heading 1201, or simple of left, 9 left, Skywest 4550.
Alright, and flaps 1.
Blue 7, descend and maintain level 340.
So we can climb to flight level 370.
Level 340.
Alright, and we're at GCO 2.6 and we're already through 3500. And slowly accelerating. Let's just set this to 37 so we don't lose it here.
SkyWest 5480, proceed direct to E-Bake, resume normal speed.
Direct E-Bake and normal speed, thank you, SkyWest 5480. Did I get climb power in there? I don't think I did I? There we go, climb power's in there now. Alright, so speed can go to 250 now with the flaps retracted. Alright, and we can do direct E-Bake.
Clearance takeoff.
Right, I have 070 in there still.
Aircraft calling Chicago Center, where are you located?
E-Bake and nav.
I believe I'm located in
Make sure
Chicago.
it is direct E-Bake. There it is, direct E-Bake.
Okay,
Perfect.
airport Chicago.
All right, and things are coming together. All right, we got it airborne. We did okay there. That departure's really busy.
KRRD, I think it is.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and turn those
Rockford
off.
2389, is that you?
Turn that off, and call for the
That's
climb check. So fuel cross flow.
Army
Back to auto.
I'm closing up, so
Bleeds
change
and
to advisory
APU
frequency.
bleeds are normal. Auto and APU is off. Thrust reversers are
SkyWest 4550, 10 miles from
and
Zeno, maintain
CAS
3000 until
checked.
established on the local logic.
Climb check is complete, and we're underway for another leg of a pilot's life. Here we go. Whew.
Air Shuttle 1056, maintain 180.
It's a lot of work to get airborne in this aircraft, I tell ya.
3000.
There goes Chicago there.
Go to 180 and down to 3000, Air Shuttle 10.
Downtown
Blue 7,
Chicago.
contact Minneapolis Center
Shut this
133.4
down over there.
minutes.
33.6.
We're almost up to 10,000.
It is also prohibited.
Center Southwest 1528, ready for taxi.
Whew, I just...
35,
Whew,
47,
a little break from that. There's just so much going on. Chicago especially.
3000.
On departure is a busy airport. Alright, just waiting for 10,600 here, 10,000 above the ground.
SkyWest 4550, unfortunately I'm closing up. Radar service terminated. Change advisory frequency is approved. No aircraft is there between you and the O'Hare
Alright,
Airport.
and I set 1,000, so we go ahead and length off, seatbelts off, pressurization.
Army 1961, I'm closing up. Rockford approach offline. Radar service terminated. Please change the approved.
Alright, and we got off the ground just in the nick of time. Sounds like this guy's shutting down, but at least we got some ATC to get us established en route, which was great.
767, I'm closing up. Radar service terminated. Please change the approved. Copy that.
Just gotta listen out for our own call sign here.
What are you going to count for Mark 767? Thanks, my friend.
Après le repas, nous
SkyWest 54, I'm closing up. Radar service terminated. Please change the approved.
Appreciate the service. Have yourself a great night, SkyWest 5480.
Alaska 1085, radar service terminated. Please change the approved.
Alright, we're over to Unicom. Farewell, Chicago Center. It's a pity you didn't stay for any longer, but I don't think Cleveland's online, so that's okay. That is okay. Actually, I'm just going to quickly glance behind me at my other screen here, where I also have my VATSIMATC running. So we don't have Cleveland, but we do have Toronto, so eventually we will have to call Toronto Center, and even Montreal Center's online, so we will get control down into Ottawa, which is great. I love it. VATSIM ATC, that's one of the nice things about streaming at night, is you get good VATSIM ATC. The unfortunate side effect of streaming at night, of course, is that it's dark. If I was to go to real time right now, you'd see it was dark, or at least very close to sunset, and the second half of this flight would all be in the dark. And the dark, it's not that I don't want to fly in the dark, it's just very dark. You don't see much. And the airplanes look fantastic at night. If you're flying it yourself, then that's okay, but I'm trying to change. Shoot. Trying to change the speed, trying to pick up the speed. I never increased the speed as we went through. 10,000 there, so speed 290. We'll accelerate to there. Yeah. Hope we can make this climb here. She seems like she's being very sluggish here in the climb. The anti-ice is not on. She is picking up some speed, so hopefully she'll get up there. It just takes some time. But yeah, I normally I kind of really like to fly the sim in real time. So whatever the day is, you know, I deal with it as it comes. So whether it be daytime or nighttime, I deal with the sim as it comes. But for the sake of streaming, I've started to offset the time in the sim to make sure that it stays all within daylight. I've done some night streaming. If you look back in my channel, you'll see I've done night streaming, and I just don't like it. I just find it's not that I don't like it. It's that I find that the sim is just very dark, and it's very hard to see what's going on outside. The sim itself generally looks better than the stream does. The stream, through the codecs, kind of compresses everything, simplifies, you know, blurs it a little bit, so some of the fine detail, which is more prevalent and noticeable at night, is missed that way. Alright, hold on a second. We've just got to set standard here. We're going through flight level 180. This is one of those things that they changed. The interface here. Did I not go into FMS? Jeez. There we go, we're in FMS. Just make sure we're in FMS mode. Yes, it's tracking FMS now. So one of the things that they did, and if I can show you, so all these little buttons here that are in the middle of the knobs, you used to be able to just push the knob here directly. But now, for the most part, it's gone. So you just have the spinning thing here, the spinning icon. You can't actually push this button. And I actually read about it, and what you have to do is if you see this, then you have a middle button here that you want to push, that not spinning the knob, but push the button in the middle, like to sync the heading. What you have to do is you have to right-click, and then it becomes a push button icon, and then you can just push that button in the middle. Otherwise, it just turns the knob, which is... It's not a terrible innovation in terms of the interface, but what's frustrating is that, again, it was one of those things that Microsoft changed and didn't tell anybody. And that's what really kind of blows me away, is they made a lot of changes, a lot of interface changes, and they really didn't do a very good job of telling people about what they were doing. They just here is Sim Update 5. It's a whole bunch of stuff has changed. Good luck, enjoy it. Without telling people what they were doing, and that really frustrates me. Not an ad, I just need a drink. That is not a product placement or a product endorsement. Alright, so we'll do it again here. So see here on the heading bug, if I want to sync my heading bug up to where I'm heading right now, I should just be able to push this knob right here, but it doesn't work. I can't push the center button unless first I right click, and then it switches to push mode. And then I can do it. If I don't do anything for about 3 or 5 seconds afterwards, it reverts back to the normal kind of twisting mode. So there's some changes in the way things are done. There we go. So we're underway again for another leg of a pilot's life. Unfortunately, we don't have the entourage today. Squibbly, who usually kind of tries to fly with me here, ended up being out of town today, even though we discussed a little bit. But you know, I say when you have the opportunity, take it right now. It's that time of year. Summer is going to wane pretty quickly now. If you have a chance to go out and enjoy some outdoor time, go and do it. This was basically the end. This was the last chance it's going to have to stream for at least this week. So VATSIM ATC is okay with you not using real time. You have to your flight time. Yeah, VATSIM ATC, they don't care what time you're flying in, really, because they can't see it. All they see is you moving on the screen. The only place where it might be an issue is like if they're trying to simulate a curfew operation after a certain time. So certain runways usually are closed at certain times, then they may be doing that even though it's kind of daytime for you. But yeah, they wouldn't care what time you're simulating. Now, what they will care about, what VATSIM ATC will care about, is they will care about if you're doing accelerated time. So if you are speeding the sim up to 4 times. But Microsoft Flight Simulator doesn't feed to that. The previous older sims did. You could do 16 times speed, so you'd be going really fast. So for the boring cruise phase, you can speed it right up, so you get through the cruise phase really quickly, you get to your destination. That means he wants to know if you'll do that, because you'll zoom across their screen really quick. They want to know that because you're getting in the way of other airplanes. But in terms of what time of day you're flying, no. What they are more worried about is whether or not you are using accurate weather. So right now I'm using Microsoft Live Weather, which is not fantastic, but it generally is somewhat reasonably accurate. If you're not using live weather, if you're using a fixed weather, then they'll want to know that. They won't even necessarily want to know that, but they're going to assume that you have some sort of live weather system, because they're going to make decisions based on the weather as it's being reported right now in the real world. So they're going to select runways based on the wind direction in the real world, and they may select runways based also on the visibility and the ceiling. So how low are the clouds? If they need certain approaches to get into the airport, then they will do that based on what are the real world conditions right now. So if you're not using real world weather, it does impact how they handle you in the sim. They won't necessarily know, but you can tell them if you're not using real world weather, but they will expect you nevertheless to fly based on what are probably the real world conditions right now. So the approach is based on what the real world conditions are. Use the active runways based on what the real world winds are, even if that gives you a tailwind in your sim, because they need to coordinate everybody and move everybody in the simulated world. And the assumption is that everyone's using some kind of live weather system, and most people are. There are free alternatives. If you're using Microsoft Flight Simulator, it's built right into the sim. It's not perfect. I have the live weather turned on here, so it's not perfect, but it works. And even in the older sims, there's lots of different ways to get live weather in the sim. There's payware weather software. There is freeware weather software. So there are ways to get weather into the sim. Doing. I'm just looking at the altitude here on my screen now there, so we're passing through 30,500. I can see that on the overlay, so we're getting there. Cruise is 37,000, so we'll be there in a few minutes. Counting up and down just a little bit. And I kind of like the way the camera sort of smooths that out, so it's a little bit more realistic. In the older sims, the camera was like glued to the airplane, as it were, and so even though the airplane might move with turbulence, you would be moving with the airplane, so the airplane would never appear to move backwards. This is probably a more realistic way. It's kind of almost like we're in a chase plane flying beside our aircraft, and I like the fact that it undulates a little bit. So I kind of like that. Love the way the sim looks. Everything about the sim is fantastic all the time. There's the shore of Lake Michigan. You can see the highways, all of Michigan now underneath us. It's all. I miss flying the sim when Sim Update 5 had broken it. I look forward to having some more aircraft to choose from soon too. I do have the DC-6. I will probably do a flight of the DC-6 soon. I feel like I'm overdue for a flight of the DC-6 now. So I kind of wanted to get this done too. I tried to do this already twice. So I'm very happy to try and get this done. And I will probably have an ATC stream later this week as well. There will be an ATC stream probably in... I think I scheduled for Friday. If you look in the comments to this video, should be there. There should be, or on the comments on my Twitch channel anyways, there is a Discord. And the primary reason I use the Discord is to have chats with people, but mostly it's there to provide a place where I can put my schedule online. So when I sort of figured out in advance when my streams are going to happen, then I put them on there. They're not the same time every week, because my work schedule shifts every week. It's not the same days I work every week. Pardon me. So I need to shift the schedule based on that. So very much, of course, I change my schedule from one stream to the next. But I do try to publish it on my Discord. So join the Discord at least, and join that. Check out that streaming channel. I believe I said Friday will be the day that I'll be streaming some live ATC. Should be almost there. Wow, she really is climbing sluggish here. All right, let's transition to a Mach number here and see what we're at. Yeah, see, it's climbing at a very fast Mach number. It doesn't need to climb that fast. It's climbing 270 here, just to kind of get it going here. There we go. Let's get it to climb at Mach 7.4. There we go. Now we'll actually get to cruise, because it was just climbing at such a fast speed, it was never going to get up there. Boy. So while the airplane's climbing up here today, I wanted to just rant about one thing that really bothered me. Let me just try something here actually and see if that makes it better, because it's a little bit too bright. It's a little better. Unfortunately, just there's no lower lighting, so because I have to wear this hat to use track IR, kind of shades my face a little bit. But anyways, so I wanted to talk today about Microsoft Flight Simulator's update process, because frankly...
And gentlemen, we are about to start serving drinks. Please make sure your tray table is in the down position and clear any items from the
I'll start this again in a second as soon as that PA is done, because I want it to be relatively soft in the background.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to start serving drinks. Please make sure your tray table is in the down position and clear any items.
So now they're going to start wandering through the cabin and doing service, which is great. That makes the passengers happy all the time. Okay. So, what I wanted to talk about today was Microsoft Flight Simulator and their update process, and I think you guys all know what I'm going to say, but I really just want to rant about it anyways for just a minute or two anyways. And that is, I think that Microsoft is a little bit heavy-handed with their update process, and I really wish they would kind of get their heads out of their collective rear ends and make it a little bit more reasonable. Because the update process where they force the update on everyone and you cannot opt out of the update is a broken model, because their updates are always broken. Unfortunately, with flight simulators are very complex pieces of software, and especially because people also like to add their own add-on software. So whether it be payware DLC, freeware DLC, there's tons of add-ons you can add on to your flight simulator to fly it how you want to fly it. But the problem with that is that it creates a lot of incompatibilities and twerks and little things that you have to worry about in the sim. So when Microsoft pushes an update, it very often breaks a lot of these things. They tend to push a lot of updates that change a lot of functionality, and I find that very frustrating, first of all. The sim works reasonably well, and I wish they would not, first of all, break the existing functionality just to push out an update to the sim. Things like, especially with Update 5, we saw changes to the way the whole user interface behaves, and everyone was defaulted to the Xbox style of control system. And all of these Windows users that have been using this for a long time got very used to that previous control system. You should leave that as the default system, first of all, and then put it in as an option that we can go change and try out this new system. Maybe put a tooltip and suggest it, but don't force everyone into the new system. But that just goes hand in hand with the heavy-handed way that Asobo has always pushed the updates to Microsoft Flight Simulator. You cannot opt out of a Microsoft Flight Simulator update once it's been pushed out there into the world, and that really, really bugs me. Because their updates are so often broken. Every other sim we have, we can opt out of updates if we're unsure if they're going to affect the software we have. We can opt out of the updates, or we can at least delay them. Even Microsoft Windows itself has finally, after a good 5 years of people yelling at them, allowed users to pause their updates, delay their updates, so that you don't have to update right away when a new update is released, especially, you know, if you rely on certain finicky software, if you're enterprise type systems and you rely on certain software. And if that update breaks your software, your whole system is down until Microsoft pushes a fix. So Microsoft has allowed people updating Windows to opt out, or at least pause their updates for 30 days at least, so that they can make sure the software is compatible. And if it's not, they can wait until it is compatible. Microsoft Flight Simulator offers you no such option. Once the update is pushed out into the world, you cannot start the sim without finishing the update, even if it breaks your sim and then crashes to desktop every single time you use the sim after that, which is very frustrating. And it's a game. It's a bloody game. It's not mission critical. It's not mission critical, and it's a hobby that people want to go and enjoy. They want to go take some time at the end of a busy day, and they want to just boot up the sim and go fly around an airplane and just have a little bit of fun. And then to have this software that is not cheap either be broken every single time they go to boot it up, so they can't even use it, it's just extremely frustrating. So I am, for one, very tired of the update model that they're pushing right now. I like their updates in general, that they have tweaked things and improved things over time, and they are making a better sim over time. But what they need to do is they need to allow the updates to be optional, at least temporarily, you know, just like with Microsoft Windows, a 30-day or a 60-day delay to allow the developers to catch up, to make sure that they are that the add-ons that we all really love and enjoy are compatible with our sim when we're ready to update it. There is no need to force these updates down our throat. There is nothing so mission critical. These are not high security things. You're not, you know, it's not stealing my banking information or opening a backdoor to my computer. It's a bloody flight simulator. Let people defer the updates for 30 days or 60 days if they wish, until the update stabilizes. Because the other trouble is with the major update version, update 5, giant updates that we pushed, they're gonna break stuff. They're gonna break lots of stuff. So for people who are ready to live on the leading edge and want to do the update right away and see what's good and what's new, but perhaps break their sim, fine, let them do it. But let other people who really want the sim to fly when they want it to fly, let them have the option of opting out of the updates, at least for a period of time, at least for 30 or 60 days until the update has stabilized, because every update has required a hot fix within like a week or two to fix some of the most critical issues and reduce the crash to desktop. So so Asobo, please find a way to make these updates deferrable for at least a period of time, at least 30 days, maybe even 60 days, to allow the developers to get caught up so that you don't break all of our favorite airplanes right away every time you push an update. It's getting very frustrating. The sim is great in a lot of ways, but the update process you have is broken. So please take some time to fix it. Alright, that's enough of my rant for now. I just wanted to really get that rant out there because this affected me directly. Like, I tried to stream last week and the CRJ was just not usable because of the sim update that was pushed, and I didn't have an option. If I wanted to use the sim at all for any flying, it was I had to run the update. So it was very frustrating to me, and I'm not the only person for sure that found it frustrating. I have no doubt. I know there were other people that found it very frustrating. Yes, I am. Today we are SkyWest under the American Eagle colors, but we are SkyWest. If I zoom in a little bit here, and if I also do this thing here, and there we go. You can see operated by SkyWest. There we are at the flight deck. Actually, the flight deck is empty. I thought we could put pilots in there. I thought there were simulated pilots. But yes, today we are SkyWest. So we are on our way from Chicago out to Montreal, or out to, Ottawa. Here we're going past Patty. We're on our way to Salem. So Detroit's coming back. You can start to see it there. That is, I think that's Lake Erie right there. So Detroit's going to be right about here. Yeah, you can sort of start to see the grid of streets already out there. That is Detroit coming into sight already. Yeah, I don't. There's days, and it's funny. The one thing that was actually a little bit nice about this whole update of the CRJ debacle is that it gave me a chance to go back and fly in P3D a little bit. I went and actually flew P3D a couple of flights. I flew the Dash for a flight. I flew the Dash for a flight. I flew the 7-3 for a flight just for fun. Oh, and I flew the 747 for a flight just for fun. But it got me back into P3D for a little bit. And honestly, I barely touched P3D in months. So it was kind of fun to get back into it a little bit. I like that sim a lot in a lot of ways. It's obviously not nearly, the scenery's not nearly as good. The simulation is not nearly as graphically there, but it still is a great sim to fly. There's lots of good airplanes. There's lots of good add-on software. I've gotten very used to flying that between the FS2 crew, the GSX, and all the other sim software. I really like flying P3D, and I forgot how much I liked it. It took me, being kind of forced to do a flight to really remember. So. But yeah, I wanted to rant on about that. It's been a great couple of weeks, though, honestly, for flight simulation. There's been quite a few good things that have come out. One of them, as I mentioned, was FS2 Crew released their first voice control aircraft co-pilot FS2 Crew simulation for Microsoft Flight Simulator. So this one, and I showed it here earlier, it's for the let's see here. It's for the fly-by-wire A3NX project. So you can actually now have a fully functional first officer for your fly-by-wire A3NX, A320. It does everything that like the previous ones have done. I haven't actually used it yet, so I don't, I can't quote 100% that it works. But what the description says, anyways, is that it has full voice, voice control capability or button control capability, whichever you prefer. I might prefer voice myself, but if you like the button control's there. It's fully functional, so it does all the various things throughout the flight as a first officer, so it'll change headings and altitudes and all that sort of stuff for you. If you tell it to, it'll put the gear down and the flaps and do all the flows. It'll do all the first officer flows while you do all the captain flows. So I haven't actually got it out and used it yet. Honestly, just came out yesterday or today or so. But it's there, it's new, and it's, as you can see here, it's integrated pretty tightly into the sim, so you can actually run stuff from right within the sim without even having to go outside the sim to run the FS2 crew stuff here. And even Pushback Express shut itself down as soon as the pushback was done, and if I want to, when we get to Ottawa, I can use this to fire it back up again from right within the sim. So that's great. I'm super stoked about that. I'm going to give that a try, and honestly, at this point now, it is taking me in. It's making me wonder if I should go in a different direction with my pilot's life career. So right now, I work for SkyWest and flying the CRJ, and here we are flying the CRJ today. But it makes me wonder if maybe I should take a job. I can't even look at anything else, but it makes me wonder if I should consider perhaps taking a job with a 320 operator. So you know, maybe. JetBlue or Spirit, I think Frontier, or maybe one of the main lines like Delta. I think American has a whole fleet of buses as well. So it's making me wonder if I should consider switching careers again, switching companies again. Not that I don't like the CRJ, but one thing that really is truly missing right now from the CRJ is the interactivity of FS2 crew. Being able to talk to the FO and work as a two-man team. I'm basically doing everything in the airplane, and that's not that I don't like the ability to do that, but if you want to really kind of simulate that airline career, what you really need to simulate is a guy sitting next to you in the airplane, doing half the job with you. So having certain roles to fulfill, and especially what really to me is the icing on the cake with FS2 crew, and always has been, is voice control. Instead of just relying on constantly using my mouse and constantly clicking, and my god, my hand gets sore here clicking everything in the airplane, having something that will actually, like, while I'm on final and I'm hand flying the airplane, I can ask for things. I can ask for the speed to be adjusted, or I can ask for the flaps to fold, or the gear down while I'm flying the airplane. That is just the icing on the cake. That is really what sells FS2 crew, and I've always thought FS2 crew, ever since I first started using it, is a quality product for that reason. That is the primary reason to be. You know, the fact that you have a second crewmate and it does some certain things is great, but when you can control it with your voice, that's what really sets FS2 crew apart as pretty much to me as a must-have add-on. So I'm looking forward to getting my hands dirty with this FS2 crew. I haven't actually gotten a chance to even boot it up yet. I installed it, and that's it. That's all I've done so far. But I will do it very soon, and like I said, it's making me contemplate, should I change career in pilot life? Should I change to be a 320 driver somewhere and be able to use the FS2 crew for now? I have mixed emotions because I like the FS2 crew. You know, and the fly-by-wire A320 is a work in progress so far. It's good, but it has its issues. So I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sold on whether or not long term for me it's going to be, you know, if it's really worthwhile to try and fly it or not. So I haven't decided yet, but it's definitely something that now I have to think about. It could make a very interesting month of a pilot's life, flying around and having the 320 as an aircraft with FS2 crew interactivity. I'm looking forward to that. All right, let's just have a look around here. Just flying right over Detroit right now. This is Lake St. Clair right here, so we're just kind of flying over Detroit. We're just going to come over Ontario in the next little while. If Toronto Center's still online, we're going to give him a call in a second here. Let's just check and see here. Oh yeah, he's still online. Good stuff. So let's go ahead and let's dial him in right now, because we're going to actually be in his airspace. Not too long from now. 2577, so make sure we got it up and ready to go here. Alright, there we go. And we will have to actually start setting up for our arrival into into Ottawa before too long. Let's just think, like, I feel so pent up because there's been It's been so long since I really got a chance to stream, and there's been quite a few things talked about, anyways. I'm trying to think now. The other thing, of course, and I think I talked about this in my last stream, but I'm really looking forward to that Phoenix A320. That looks like something that's going to be really fantastic to get into the sim. PMDG said that their aircraft are definitely underway. Their 737 is definitely underway. Don't know when it's going to come out of the sim, but it's going to be not before too long. What else? Just trying to think. There's a lot of things I've been reading about in this sim world lately. One thing that actually struck me too this week, and we should all offer a little happy birthday, happy 1-year birthday to Microsoft Flight Simulator itself. This sim has basically, I forget exactly what day it came out now, I'll be honest, I've forgotten exactly what day, but basically this sim has now been out for a year. So it's now 1 year old, and look what we've got in this sim. We've got, first of all, photorealistic scenery going on down here. This is Detroit. I recognize this from having flown over it many times. It looks very real doing this. It looks really quite good. And then the airplane itself just looks incredibly good. The closer you get, the better it looks. If I can try and have a little look around here, but the closer you get, the better it looks. It's just, it's everything, the deckling on it is so nice. And then just the way the light catches on all the different aspects of the aircraft, it just all looks so good. This is why I have trouble going back to P3D, is when I see the scenery in P3D, I just have to shut my eyes. It just doesn't look the same at all.
Oh, stand by.
Alright, let's try him out.
Roger that.
Toronto Center, very good evening. SkyWest 5480, flight level 370 is passing for Detroit.
SkyWest 5480, good evening, sir. Squawk 0551.
Alright, Squawk 0551, SkyWest 5480.
Size 7498, short of runway.
There's 0551 in the box.
Test 7498. Winds 1705, clear takeoff 23.
Sarnia down there, and Lake Huron. Here's some weird kind of like...
480, you're identified, welcome aboard.
Roger. There is some kind of like weird tiling going on here. I imagine just satellite imagery was taken at different times. The colors did not quite totally blend in some of these areas. And it's a shame when you see that because it really does kind of stand out. Alright, how are we doing?
Skyhawk Charlie Delta Echo Pop Kilo, looking to pick up our IFR to Sarnia.
Trying to see, do we have our waypoints? They're low by my
Pop Kilo.
Down.
You're cleared to Sarnia off of runway 24, Hamilton 9 departure.
We got about
Squawk 05.
45 minutes, so in about another 5 or 10 minutes we'll probably start setting up for our arrival here into Ottawa this evening.
Front Seneca Express 766, request for the descent.
Cleared IFR to Sarnia off of 24 via the Hamilton 9 departure, Squawk 0527 for Echo Pop Kilo.
Echo Pop Kilo, Squawk 05.
One thing I'll say is that my passengers seem to be pretty happy with the service provided so far. Have a little look-see here. Some big aircraft.
Echo Pop Kilo, readback is correct. Call me ready for taxi.
There we go. Satisfaction. Almost everybody's pretty happy here.
Call
Who's
ready
unhappy?
taxi, Echo Pop Kilo.
Heavy, descend 8,000.
This guy's thirsty. Need toilet. Maybe if I send flight attendants around with another set of drinks. It's only been like 30 minutes, guys. How are you getting thirsty again?
766 Heavy, Toronto Center.
Did you not get drink the first time around, I wonder?
Please say again, sorry, but...
Conroy is
766 Heavy, descend 8,000.
thirsty and reading a book.
Express 766, descend into...
Winston Miller is relaxing. Is that their age? 88? 1? No.
Uniform Oscar Bravo, welcome to City Center. Taxi to parking at your discretion.
I think every passenger
Parking at my discretion.
has a number
Oscar Bravo.
associated with them. Probably the order they boarded, including probably the flight attendants. I can actually zoom in on a flight attendant for a second here. There we go. Eagle 47. Maybe it could be ages. I don't know.
Center, good evening. Air Canada, or rather Jazz 74908 climbing with
Some thirst. There's a few people that are really thirsty. Most people are pretty happy, but there's a few people that are thirsty. A lot of people using the Wi-Fi.
Jazz 7498,
Really drunk?
climb 7,000.
Nope, no drugs.
Mid to 7,000, 7498.
We need the toilet. Some people sort of need the toilet a little bit. Some people are hungry, some people are thirsty. Nobody's bored, though, at least. It's kind of fun, anyways, just to see what people are doing in the back. Anyways. We'll definitely have to get this going here.
Jazz 7498, turn left, direct saver on course, climb flight level 270. 270, thank you, 7498.
Here's my flight logs. Some have been good, some have been bad. I did a couple of flights in the dash, and they've turned out to be pretty bad at first because I was using the Majestic Dash 8. The Majestic Dash 8 systems are, like, their entire, like, aerodynamic system is outside of the sim, so the sim was not registering anything about the aircraft. It was registering, the biggest thing was it was registering no Gs, 0 Gs, when of course you should only have 1 G, so the passengers were all very uncomfortable because the whole time they were in the airplane it registered 0 Gs. So the nice thing about self-loading cargo is you can turn off these penalties. So you get penalties if your flight controls and your maneuvering exceeds certain tolerances to the point where the passengers would react negatively. However, if you have an aircraft that for some reason does not use the normal systems inside the sim, you can turn these off so you don't get a negative grade, because I was getting a negative grade because everyone was saying the flight was constantly at 0 Gs, it was constantly going over the top with essentially weightlessness.
Taxi on Charlie.
Tom and GT, good morning, or good evening. It looks like morning because I'm just looking outside. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you there. It's a nice quiet afternoon, although we do have afternoon flight over to Ottawa, but we do have some ATC online for once, as you can probably hear, which is really kind of a nice change. Don't often get that, so I'm glad that we're finally getting some ATC here. Alright, so let's just check the weather one more time in Ottawa to see what it's doing here, but I'm going to guess we are probably going to do straight in ILS into runway 07. What else have I done? Actually, there was one other thing that I did actually utilize. I found while I was trolling the internet, and I found it really actually quite useful. So I thought I would share it with you guys if I can find it, but I don't know where.
Should I follow this?
I'll be honest, I don't know where I put it. It's here somewhere. I just have to find it. Here it is.
M670, that's a negative, sir. You should be on the star.
Roger that. Thank you, Brett.
Alright, so, if I can, where would it go here? Flight Sim. So I found a new little utility called Model Matching Magic for Microsoft Flight Simulator, and it's a very simple little utility. You can find it on flightsim.to, I believe, but all it is Model Matching Magic. What it will do is it will scan your sim for aircraft models. And when it finds aircraft models, it will associate the proper airline code and aircraft type, and it will allow you to generate a VMR file, which is a file that's used by vPilot to help match the aircraft correctly. So match the airplanes that vPilot is putting into the sim with the correct model. So if you're one of these people that has downloaded a lot of extra liveries and types, so what I used, for example, is, if I can't find it here, but I don't know where I put it.
Canada 175, runway 23,
but the livery's Mega Pack Manager here.
Alpha Lima, Alpha Hotel, hold short 23.
Which is something else that I started using, and I really am kind of enjoying it. But so the livery's Mega Pack allows you to download various liveries for aircraft, and there's even some extra models you can download. There's actually an extra 320 model you can download, and I think there's a 37 model they're going to release that you can download, so that you have 37 models in your sim. They may not be flyable, but as AI traffic. And so what the Model Matching Magic does is it allows you to scan your sim.
Okay, Express 766 Heavy descends.
Even though we're in the sim, it'll just scan through the folder. It'll find everything that you have here, and it'll show you how it's matched it up. So Lufthansa Regional CRJ, DLH CRJ7, and these red ones are ones that I actually manually edited. So some of them it automatically detected. The ones in black it automatically detected the airline and the type. and some of them I had to add either the airline or change the type, and I can also exclude them from the VFR file if I want to. But so these are all the aircraft that are different types of aircraft and liveries that are installed in my sim that vPilot can use. But in order for vPilot to recognize them, you have to have a VMR file. So this generates a VMR file really quickly. vPilot also has an internal method of scanning, but it doesn't interface that well with the sim yet. So this is really neat. It really it's improved the model matching in the sim as far as I've seen. I have a few aircraft that are in there, and it's definitely improved the model matching thus far. So that I'm more likely to see realistic aircraft in there. So, Tama GT considering a Montreal-Toronto flight. Well, good. Get it started quickly because they've been on for a little while. So it's getting a little late in the evening. If you don't get started soon, they're probably going to log off. I hate to say it. I hate to be that negative Nelly, but it's getting later in the evening in the Toronto in Eastern Canada. So Toronto, Montreal, and so those guys are probably going to log off if I was a betting man within the next hour to hour and a half. So get that flight started if you want to do it. I hate getting a flight started and seeing the ATC log off, but that seems to be my curse. I always seem to have that happen, where the ATC logs off as soon as I started a flight. I don't know why I try to get the ATC. But today we're looking out here. We got some ATC. It looks like, if I was a betting man, I think they're going to both be here for our arrival. So we'll actually be talking to Montreal actually for arrival, but our initial descent will be with Toronto. So let's just have a look here out the window. It seems like my thing is, yeah, no, that's why it's not quite. There we go. Aligned correctly. So there goes Lake Huron behind us. Just flew right over London, Ontario. It's Durlow. I won't be able to see it, but you can start to see.
Takeoff 24, Top Kilo.
It's Lake Erie down there. You can start to see Toronto come into sight here. I think there might even be. Yeah, you can see it. That's Hamilton right there. That's Lake Ontario. So Toronto's coming into sight pretty quickly here. So let's just double check this weather here. 0503. Yeah, I would bet we're going to use 07 in Ottawa. So let's do this. Let's pull up some charts. And let's start setting up for this arrival here, because this will start to happen pretty quickly here in a few minutes. So we're going to need to start down before too long. So let's get this going here. Capital 5 arrival, straight in ILS to 07, and the airport diagram.
Toronto Center, can I reach you with uses passing flight 04246 going down to 10,000.
Canada 32 Toronto Center, good evening, squawk 0576.
So let's just pair these off here, and let's just have a look here. So we're going to join the arrival at Myvok, which we're direct to from Durlow at this point. After that,
heavy turn right heading
mechanic at or below flight level 230, Lanark at or below 10,000. That's not showing correctly. So let's put that in there because that'll help, because we don't want to be high on this approach. It's straight in, there's no room to lose altitude here. Nope. And now my one light went off on me.
Sunrise 253 back.
Stand by one moment here.
2, you're identified. Position information is Victor. The altimeter is currently 3006.
There we go.
Plan arrival, runway 24 left, descend at 12,000.
Forgot that plug was on a timer. Okay, so then we go to Faisal at or above 3,000, where we join the straight-in approach to runway 07.
Air Canada 32, runway 24 left for arrival.
11-1, 12th August 2021, so the frequency 1095. So let's just crank our head around
498, leaving my airspace to the south. Cleveland's offline, radar service is terminated. Over the intercom, have a great flight.
5.
Have a great evening, thank you, sir. 22.8 times
5, there we go. So we got the frequency set in there. The final approach course 071, so we're going to have to set that. So let's just minimize this for a second here. So what we do is we sync our heading bug, go into heading mode for a second, change our nav source,
766 heavy, turn right heading
the ILS, and then we can change the inbound course to 071.
Turn in 210 for localizer, for heading to 4 left. Cayenne Express 76.
Echo Papa Kilos, how your present altitude, squawk right now.
Echo Papa Kilos through 3,500 now, it's squawking ident.
Alright, go back to nav mode here. Nav mode, and then on this side, we got to get this guy to go to
Kilo, you're identified.
2.
Direct Sarnia,
Easy
climb
way instead of
8,000.
craning my neck around.
Direct Sarnia, climb 8,000, take Papa Kilo.
That's 70, so that's 71. There we go. Alright, and then we also need to set minimums of 573, so we're going to set 580. So we're going to set our MDA to 580. There we go. Alright, and the glide slope at Amobi will be 1700.
Air Canada
There it is.
175 is requesting
ILSDA is
takeoff at
573,
runway
so we
22.
got 580 set. The touchdown zone elevation at 373, and we've got, sorry, over here, we've got 380 for the landing elevation, so that works. 3,000 feet is the sector altitude of all sectors around the Ottawa NDB. Missed approach is to climb 3,000 feet direct to the Ottawa NDB, and as required, shuttle climb. 100 miles safe is 7,000. The localizer will have along with 10 degrees center line, intensive training area northwest of the airport. 3-degree glide slope, Happy's on the left, SSALR lighting system, RVR 2600 or 1/2 mile.
Express 766, established on the localizer.
And yeah, that's about it. RVR 2600 or half mile. We're going to vacate left on Foxtrot Taxi Bravo back to the gates. Because we're transborder, we're going to go to the far end of the terminal here. We're going to park at like gate 5 or something like that at the far end of the terminal. This is the transporter area up here. So that's it for the charts. Terrain is 3,000 foot MSA, all sectors around Ottawa. Weather, it's not bad right now. Few at 600, scattered 1,500, broken at 5,300. Here's my METAR right here. So it's not terrible, but temperature dew point is 21 degrees, 3010. There's a good chance it's going to fog up tonight, so that's kind of what we're a little bit worried about. While I'm at it, actually, let's just set 3010 over here. There we go. And operational, no meals in the aircraft, no TAMs. So again, we'll bring our no TAMs back here, anything for Ottawa. So CRFI, don't worry about that. ARFF, I'm not worried about that. Returns to ground services, ILS-32, ILS-32. RNAV Zulu 07, and that's it. So there's nothing exciting happening there. Fuel to go to, this is the only other thing I need to know, fuel to go to Toronto. We need 14 and 28 is 42, basically 4,300 pounds. Right now we got 8,400. We're going to probably come over Ottawa with probably about 8,000 or so. So yeah, we should be good right now. We definitely got a couple thousand pounds extra. I think the, I don't know if this airplane underburns or SimBrief kind of overplans the burns, but I find that at this point, there we go. I find I always burn a lot less gas in the CRJ than what is planned. Alright, I think that's about it for my briefing. And it looks like our top of descent is pretty much 80 miles away there. So we just went over Toronto here. We're going over Toronto. Actually, we're going over Toronto right about now. So let's go ahead. Oh, there we go. Nice.
Air Canada 1.
There's Toronto right there. Really, really god-awful default scenery, but...
Passing the 2,000 now.
Air Canada 175, you're identified. Climb 7,000.
7,000 for Air Canada 175.
Okay, Express 766 heavy. Winds 1705, clear to land 24 left.
Clear to land or
Clear to land 24 left. See if we can spot anybody here. Oh, is that him there? Oh, that's him right there, I think. Yeah, you can see a contrail. That's the guy going down to 24 left right there. Neat. He's leaving a contrail down there in the low level. Okay, right on final there, nice one. Tom and GT, if it's not too late, can I also suggest that maybe if you want to do a quick flight, Montreal to Ottawa would be great. If you haven't seen it, there is a really, really fantastic Ottawa scenery out there. It's done by Roman Design, and it is just absolutely fantastic to
175, turn left direct, favor
fantastic to look at, first of all.
Climb to the good, direct favor on course to airplane 175.
And this is the scenery that you'll see when I land in Ottawa here. But this guy is a one-man design development studio. He's just basically working on this all by himself. He doesn't have anybody else helping him. Oh, it looks like Montreal logged off. Oh, pity. But he has done an absolutely phenomenal job. So this is the Ottawa scenery here, and just the level of detail. I mean, the flags, as silly and gimmicky as some of these things are, first of all, that adds just a wonderful splash of color to what is often, you know, a lot of gray when you build an airport. So it adds a nice splash of color, but just absolutely fantastic to see what this guy has done here with the Ottawa airport. It's not a big airport, but it's, you know, you can have international flights. It's large enough to have international flights. It's got a 10,000-foot runway. It's got a big terminal with international services. So you can fly all sorts of different aircraft types here, but it also has a small field at the north end designed explicitly for general aviation. So you can do both general aviation and airline flying here. It's a great mix. It also has great VATSIM ATC coverage because both Montreal and Toronto, if they're online, will control it. So Montreal logged off now, but fortunately they will. Toronto will provide the control for me landing in Ottawa because Montreal's not there. If Montreal was there, they actually control it, but they have an agreement that Toronto controls it as well. So you get kind of double coverage on this airport. So you almost always get, not always, but you get a lot more coverage than you would with most other airports. And this scenery is just beautiful. It's not the cheapest scenery in the world. It's $23. But this is really good looking scenery.
You can backtrack
and even like hangars you can actually taxi into. So they're open, the doors are open and you can actually taxi right into these hangars. It's just, they're phenomenal, some of the stuff he's done here. So.
Sorry, just a second.
I can't wait to actually go and see this up close, really. I kind of loaded it up once or twice, but I haven't even actually been through it yet.
Right, Charlie 1, Alpha Lima, parking is at your discretion.
Yeah, this is what I've been doing too. I've been slowly building up. If you're slowly building stuff up, by the way, right now Latin VFR is having a sale on all their MSFS products. Like 30%, 40% off all their MSFS products. I loaded up on a couple now. I have Miami and San Diego, two opposite sides of the continent, but hey, we can do some hopping in there in the CRJ. But yeah, I'm slowly building up my repertoire of airports as well for Microsoft Flight Simulator as I wait for more better aircraft to slowly come into the sim here. Looks like we're about 20 miles there from top of descent. We'll start down shortly here. But yeah, if you're at all interested in flying in the Ontario and
descend 8,000.
Eastern Canada, Roman Designs Ottawa is great. He's actually done a bunch of other airports too. And then, again, this is not a paid promotion, this is just what I found, but I really like the looks of the scenery. He's done a couple of different sceneries here. Give me a moment here.
Skywest 5480, weather for you, Ottawa. Winds are currently 060 at 3 knots, visibility is 15 miles. Few clouds at 600, scattered at 1,500, broken at 5,300. Temperature 21, dew point 21, the altimeter is 3010. Plan arrival runway 07, would you like the ILS?
Skywest 5480, we're planning the ILS 07, please, thank you.
Skywest 5480, leaves ILS 07, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, he's got a couple of other Canadian airports he's done. Ottawa is probably his most extensive airport to date, so he started off with, I believe, Buttonville, and then did Brampton as well. And I really want to pick up this Buttonville as well because I learned to fly at this airport, so I want to go there and have a really highly realistic scenery, and it looks really good. Again, same deal, it looks really good. He's done a lot of kind of great stuff in Ontario here. You know, just to look at some of this scenery here, it looks so good. I mean, this is what I remember right here. This is a gas station. I don't know if it's still a gas station or not, but this is a Petro-Canada station for a long time. I don't know if it's changed or not, but anyway.
416, your readback is correct.
The airport property itself looks really good. You know, look at the detail here on the hangars, the signage, and the lighting. You know, proper night lights everywhere. The flight exec hangar here. Again, you can taxi right in the hangar if you want. Like, it all looks really good. This is $15, so it's a little bit cheaper. It's a little bit smaller airport. He's also done Brampton. He's got a Pro and a Light version, so if you wanted to, you can check out the Light version. He's also released a number of packs for various parts of the GTA. The Toronto and GTA Enhancement Pack, Niagara Falls Enhancement Pack, Mississauga, and the Oakville Enhancement Packs. This guy has built a lot of stuff for Microsoft Flight Simulator already. But this one, Ottawa, looks like it might be one of his crowning achievements. It looks really good, and I can't wait to land here in just a little bit. And we are just approaching top of descent here in just like another 10 miles. We're just right over Peterborough right now. We're going to start our straight-in descent from 37,000 feet straight into Ottawa. Again, I'm not trying to promote this guy too much, but I like what I've seen, and definitely give it a look. If you're at all interested in Canadian scenery, and especially kind of Ontario scenery, have a look what this guy has done, because he's done some great stuff. SkyWest 5480, request descent.
SkyWest 5480, Ottawa, altimeter 3009er, descend 8,000.
Descend 8,000 on 3009er, SkyWest 5480. Wind it all the way down. Oop, too far. There we go, 8,000, perfect. Whew. I've done a lot of talking. My throat is getting pretty dry here. Not used to this. Alright, and this is the CRJ, so we just gotta VS it down. So we're just gonna start with VS minus 1,000. I'm gonna wait to see if the little bug comes in there. See your VNAV. Descent info. To make Canic at 23, we need to go down at 2200 feet per minute. So let's go ahead and do that now to make sure we make our restriction at Canic and then reduce the power accordingly to maintain Mach decimal 77 in the descent. We're already on our way down. Let's just check and make sure self-loading cargo registers this. So I think it'll register it momentarily. And there's the little white star there. Perfect. At what point does it switch from cruise to descent, I wonder? We're 1,000 feet below our cruise altitude. There it is. 1,500 feet below our cruise altitude is when self-loading cargo switches to descent mode. So I'm slowly learning this software. Is there a CYW, decent CYWG?
In final preparation for landing, please ensure
yes, that right now I think is the only Winnipeg scenery there is right now is the FSXScenery. Actually, I'm not sure, because the other one that might have done it is SimAddons. If you haven't seen SimAddons, SimAddons.com.
The arrows indicate the direction to follow to reach the exit.
Let's see here.
Locate the exit nearest you using this green symbol.
They have produced airports that were in the P3D era. This whole collection was really quite good. They did a pretty good collection. I don't know how it has translated into MSFS. It looks like it might be a little bit simplistic, but it doesn't look terrible. I honestly, I haven't used it either, so the night lighting here does not look great. That blue looks, there's no transparency to it, it's just kind of a blue glow. I don't know, and maybe that's just the way I'm looking at it. It doesn't look terrible, it looks not too bad. But I haven't used it yet, so I'm curious to see if anybody else has used it, what they think of it.
Canada 32, descend 3,000.
It definitely doesn't look terrible. I should be watching my speed here. Power a little bit here. It doesn't look terrible. The FSXScenery guy, he does some okay stuff. Certainly, if it's an airport, it's better than the default scenery. But actually, the SimAddons doesn't look too bad here. the worst thing right now, I would have to say, kind of is the look of the glass here on this terminal. I'm not sure if I really like that, especially at night. It doesn't really look that great. The transparency here is fine, but I don't know if this terminal really looks good at night up close. See, and look, it's just without some of these textures are a little bit perhaps not up to the Microsoft Flight Simulator standard, not what we can do and what we have seen in Microsoft Flight Simulator. So I don't even know what he's charging for this now. Let's see here. Let's see here. So these are Swiss francs for Winnipeg. He's charging 20 Swiss francs.
Thank you very much.
Express 766, copy, you shut down the gate, have a great
So that works out to about 27 Canadian dollars. So it might be a little bit on the expensive side, I think, right now for what it's offering. Just the one thing I want, like I said, the thing that probably to me looks the worst right there is the glass in the terminal. It's just a very flat texture with no depth. And Microsoft Flight Simulator, a lot of developers have proven that you can have depth. So that is probably the part that looks worst to me. Most of the airport itself is okay, and I would probably, if I was going to fly there on a stream, I'd probably pick it up and fly with it, because Winnipeg's an airport I'll go to a lot, and it's not a terrible scenery. It definitely adds more with it's better than default scenery, but yeah, I just feel like there is some room for improvement there. Microsoft Flight Simulator has set the bar higher than previous generations of the sim. Yeah, and I like P3, and I like SimAddons for their P3D stuff mostly. I find that some of it is a little bit almost too bright and colorful. It doesn't kind of have a dirty and weathered look. So the modeling, the buildings, the models of the buildings are generally very good, but I find the texturing, I think, is a little bit. Like I said, the textures are sometimes a little bit too bright, too cleanish almost. They don't look like a real-world kind of weathered terminal. They look a little bit bright, toy-like a little bit sometimes. The models themselves are really well done, but just the texture on top of them, I think, that could be improved a little bit. But overall, one thing I'll say is, like, SimAddons did cover tons of Canadian airports that never got any love from anybody else. So if you like flying in Canada and you want to fly in Canada, SimAddons was the place to go, because they were the only ones to touch a lot of these airports. Alright, looks like we transitioned, but I want faster than that. Oops. We'll do 290 in the descent. There we go. And actually, one thing I didn't do, I should have done it when we first left altitude there, was the descent checklist. Descent checklist, landing elevation. Set. Fuel. Checked. TCAS is set. Radar is off. CAS checked. Oh, I never did send this guy back to nav mode after I set his localizer there. Landing data. So it says VRF 138, and approach briefing is complete. The landing, or the descent checklist is complete. All right. Now we got the sun kind of shining in right over our shoulder here. Just light up that compass really nicely. I love the way, like, even just like the sun shining in, you can just, I knew it was coming from over my shoulder because, you know, obviously it's a blank wall behind us, but getting the sunlight so you can see it's just coming in this window, and it's just hitting these things right here.
Canada 32, turn left heading
270. It's not hitting anything else.
Localizer, cleared ILS.
230.
270 intercept the ILS for 24, intercept the ILS 24,
Air Canada 175, ASK 5 minutes.
Copy that, 175.
Now it shows us being suddenly, we were right below, just below the path, and now we're way above it here, and I'm not sure what's going on here, so I'm just going to wait till we pass Canuck here in one more second there. Yeah, just increase the descent rate a little bit there, just to make sure. Get down to Lanark at or below 10,000. mechanic crossing here. Oh, that was the progress page that had the... Oh no, it's the direct intercept page that has the... There it is. That has the required descent rates to meet the crossings. So it's like 2,600 feet down is what we need, so let's just increase our rate of descent a little bit, bring the power back, and away we go. Alright. It was well timed, because we're going to get there just sort of as the sun is just sort of setting, so that,
32, winds 1705.
that descent was well timed. It's obviously way after dark in Ottawa for real right now, but I moved the time up basically by 3 hours. Or moved the time back by 3 hours so we could actually take off and fly the majority of our flight, at least in the daytime. I think what I might do, because it's going to get a little dark as we go in the clouds, we're going to put the local light on, and we're going to just turn on the panel lighting as well, just so when we go into these clouds here, it's probably going to get a little dark. We want to make sure that we're ready for it, so lighting.
Okay, Express 547, Pearson altimeter 3006, descend 12,000 when ready.
It certainly sounds like Dean is having a nice busy evening here in Toronto, which is good to hear.
Down to 12,000.
Alright, and we're just coming up on transition. I'm just going to increase that rate of descent a little bit, and 3009 on the meter. Rate of descent just a little bit more there. The last thing we want to do is be high on this. And that's idle thrust right there, so. Unfortunately, I think we're a little high now. We should have started descending a little more, a little sooner, but oh well. Now we're going to have a hard time slowing down to hit that 10,000 feet too. 250 at 10,000. Just bring that speed bug right back to 250 now, just so we're ready. It doesn't look like it's really kind of fogged in yet, but it could. That temperature dew point spread is 0. The temperature and the dew point are the same in Ottawa, which means that there's a chance that the fog could form in Ottawa pretty much at any moment here. Alright, just gaining more and more speed here, so let's go ahead and get the speed brakes out, get this, so I can slow down a little bit here. There they are. That's making the clouds a nice color, isn't it? I spent a lot of time on the visuals in this sim. A lot of time. Alright, it is slowly cutting back on our speed here.
Canada 32, welcome to Toronto, exit right when able, report clear.
Alright, coming up in 10,000. Get the lights and seatbelts on. We're a tiny bit fast. We're trying to get it under control here.
Skywest 5480, descend 3,000.
Descend 3,000, Skywest 5480.
Due to turbulence, we ask that you return to your seats and fasten your seatbelt.
Canada 32, you can make a right, backtrack runway 24 right to Charlie 1, taxi Alpha. Alpha Mike, parking your discretion.
Alright, speed brakes closed.
253 heavy, you're leaving my airspace to west, Minneapolis centers offline, radar services terminate. Monitor Unicom, have a good
flight. Here. We were a little bit, we had to descend a little steeply there at the last minute, but we got it now. Should get there just as it turns dark, which I think we're going to get a really nice effect from the terminal here in Ottawa. It's going to look really good. And then when we do the next departure, we'll switch back to daytime flying again, but not going to be tonight. It's going to be late enough. I'm not going to be doing the flight back to Chicago tonight, but soon. 20 miles till we intercept the localizer at Visol. Keep the speed 250 for just a little bit longer here. Not too bad here, but the forecast was calling for potential of drizzle and 700 feet overcast, so kind of wanted to make sure we had enough fuel to go somewhere else. Heading bug.
Air Canada 175, I'm back.
Air Canada 175, copy that. You're sweeping my airspace to the east. Montreal Center's offline. Radar service is terminated. Over to Unicom. Have a good landing.
Alright.
Over to Unicom. Thank you so much for ATC and have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.
Just one little cloud here we gotta fly through. Alright, about 10 miles back from Visol here, we're going to start bringing the speed back so we can start configuring. But there's Highway 7 down there. We're just probably going just past Carlton Place right now. That's Highway 7. It swerves up there and meets with Highway 17 and goes straight to
Canada 416, winds 1705, clear takeoff 23.
Gotta get some nice gratuitous external shots for the title card eventually. Alright, that's enough of that. Let's start slowing this down. The important thing is to actually fly the airplane. If I don't get a clearance by about 4 miles from Visol, I'll give a friendly little poke.
Take a pop Kilo, Toronto Center has your 5x5.
That's idle.
Skywest 5480, intercept the localizer, clear the ILS 07.
Clear the ILS 07, Skywest 5480, thank you. Ooh, little lightning there. That just about blinded me. Gotta watch out for that one. Alright. Let's go flaps 1. That'll help with slowing down a little bit. Get a little more lightning here. That's 4,000, descending 3,000. Flaps 8. Just watching it slowly decelerate. Just need to turn the brightness down on these displays now. See, that's the display there. And just as the sun's going down here, it's just starting to get a little bit on the dim side here. Fortunately, we got the alright, we got Loke, we got glide slope armed, altitude's capturing at 3,000. Don't want to bleed the speed off much more than we already have.
Copy you that. Copy you disconnect and have a good night, sir.
A little bit behind below the slope there. It's working out really nicely here. Just add a little bit of power back so we don't decelerate yet.
Air Canada 416, you're identified. Climb 7,000.
Alright. Yeah, the lights are kind of going on in Ottawa down there. The outskirts of Ottawa. It's a little bit dark below the clouds here. Thunderstorms are very prevalent in Microsoft Flight Simulator all the time.
Extender 416, turn left direct Sabre on Taurus, climb flight level 3.
Fast there, we got glide slope. And Gorn altitude is set. Gotta gain some speed going down the hill here.
Skywest 5480, winds 1103, clear to land 07.
Clear to land 07, Skywest 5480. Alright, speed's coming back. We're a little high on the slope, but it's correcting. "13 months, Tim. What have you done with your life?" Besides support me. Alright, that's not great down here, but there we go. Alright, let's go gear down. And let's go ahead and get flap 20. Let's look at some real drag going on there. We're going to go with about 140, 142, I think, for our... I forget what I said our VREF was here. VREF of 138. So 143.
1,000.
We really should be getting that airplane finally configured here. Got a little behind the 8 ball, and this is way too bright now, so let's just turn that brightness down really quick. There we go. Wow, it is mucky out here. It's kind of what we were expecting, though, was a chance of some pretty poor visibility underneath this. Alright, looks like we got some approach lighting in sight here. Waiting to get to 580.
500.
Wow, it is really kind of lousy down here in Ottawa. And we're coming in a little low on this approach here. I'm going to disengage the autopilot and pull it up a little bit myself here, because it's just
300.
kind of coming in just a little bit too high. And now, of course, I overcompensated, and the frame rate is dropping.
100. Sync rate. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Oh, stay on the runway, buddy. Alright, we're doing okay here. Kind of a little unsteady there, but my frame rate is also really, this is the lowest frame rate I've ever seen.
86 Toronto Center, good evening, sir. Toronto Center's just about to close. You can just stay on Unicom.
It's about the worst frame rate I've ever seen in this sim, I'm afraid. This scenery may be overdoing it a lot.
5480, welcome to Ottawa. Left one able, report clear.
Skywest 5480, vacating left on Foxtrot, taxi to gate 6.
Not permitted. Mobile receiving and transmitting functions may now be used. Before leaving the aircraft,
Skywest 5480, taxi on Foxtrot, Bravo, and Alpha, parking your discretion.
Foxtrot Bravo, apron under discretion, Skywest 5480, thank you for the service, always a pleasure to hear your voice.
Have a good night, sir.
Had a pleasant flight and look forward to seeing you again.
Alright, wow.
And all aircraft on this channel, Toronto Center is closed for the night. Radar services is terminated. Head on over to advisory.
That is the worst frame rate I've seen on this sim so far. I think the combination of this scenery is quite intense, and that's the problem with having really good sceneries, of course. It taxes your system a lot, combined with the visibility going on right now. I think it's also really kind of playing havoc on the sim here. Alright, let's go ahead and get this cleaned up a little bit here. And disregard the bilingual announcements. Okay, I think I got everything in the after landing flow, but actually, no, you know what, I can get probes. That was the wrong one. Okay. After landing check. APU, we'll grab in a second. Transponder staying on. Flaps are 0. Lights and strobes. Did I not turn off the strobe? I think I did. No, I didn't. There we go. Now it's off. And probes are off. The after landing flow is complete. Wow. I'll be curious once we get to the gate if I just switch this to clear weather just to see if the frame rate improves, because wow, this is a terrible frame rate. And I'm sorry you guys are watching this here. I have not seen this frame rate fall, and when I tried out this airport before, it wasn't this bad. I wonder if there's something to do with Sim Update 5, or it's probably the weather. It's probably a combination of the weather and with this really highly detailed airport. I may have to turn down some settings here just to get this to work on the way back out again. Alright, so there's the terminal in Ottawa. We gotta go all the way to the far side. Are we taxiing fast? It's hard to tell when it starts to turn into this slideshow here. Yeah, we are going pretty fast actually. I may have to turn down my sim settings. I'm curious if anything else is stealing performance away or if it's just flight sim. It says that Firefox is trying to steal a lot of my performance as well.
Toronto Center, good evening. November 45 Lima is with you at flight level 410.
So maybe I'll just close some unnecessary Firefox windows. Alright, there we go. See if that does a little better. Alright, up to the far end of the terminal here. And we gotta get that APU running. Takes about 3 seconds for that door to open. APU door open, then you can press the starter.
Well, I guess I'll be up there by myself. Roger that. Have a good evening.
And I should also be on Unicom now that Toronto's gone. Heading off for now. Thanks for the stream. Have a great evening. Catch you next time. Thanks for tuning in, Tom and GT, and hopefully we will see you next time. I'm gonna try and do at least one more stream this month, and maybe September will be a little bit more regular. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens when I get an actual schedule for September. See what that says before I make any promises. Scenery looks really good. It's a pity it's playing such havoc with the frame rates. And once we get to the gate, I'm going to turn on VFR scenery for a little while, turn to daytime, and see if the frame rate improves. See if it's a combination of the good scenery with this weather, because it would be a pity if the scenery really has this negative impact on the frame rates all the time. Yeah, and then as we get past the building, all of a sudden the frame rate went to 30. Even over here it's 20, yeah, it's the building. The building is just too much. Which is a shame because it looks really good. I might have to turn down the settings or something here. There we go, that's gate 6 right there, so let's go ahead and taxi light off. Yeah, it's the building that did it. As soon as I look away from the building, it's actually not too bad, but boy, may need a better graphics card if I'm going to fly to Ottawa at all. Come on, come on, give her. Came to a full stop in the turn. Didn't mean to. That's weird, my wheel is stuck in the ground there. Wonder I can't get going. Alright, there we go. Parking brake on. Let's get the dome light on. I'm trying to grab. Come on. See, it's ever so slightly not. I have to adjust these things, I think. Did it earlier today. There we go. That one went off. Get the fuel pumps off, do the check. Yep. Okay, and get the second engine off. If they're not like perfectly at idle, they need to be right at idle, not in reverse, not in forward, or you can't pull them out. Pull them off there. Alright. Wow. Beacon. Seatbelts.
Attention
Nose
cabin
wheel steering,
crew,
and
prepare
let's
doors
also
for
do
arrival.
this. Let's
Cross
restart
check and
Pushback
stand
Express
by
because I
for
want to get the bridge over
interfront
here.
Cabin crew, the aircraft is secure. Please open doors. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Alright, that didn't work that way. We'll do it the old-fashioned way. Give it 1 second here, and here's Pushback Express because I just want to call over the jetway. Here it comes. Let's get that door open before the jetway gets here. Chocks in. Here comes the door. Alright, we'll put on the external power and we'll read the shutdown checklist.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the cockpit once again, I hope you enjoyed your flight with us today. On behalf of myself, the first officer, and the cabin crew, we wish you a safe and pleasant journey from the airport and hope to see you again soon. Thanks for flying with us.
Seatbelts are off. Thrust levers shut off. Anti-ice off. Fuel pumps off. Beacon off. Nose wheel steering switch is off, and what I forgot was the transponder, and that is now standing by. The shutdown checklist is complete. We're done. Alright, now, the real question I have is, if I change this, is this going to keep... Even with clear skies, it's still only going to do 8 frames per second. So this scenery, unfortunately, and I like it because it looks so good, but oh my god, it has like completely killed the frame rate in this sim. So as just another aside, now I just want to see how well this will work here if I do this. So if I turn the graphics down, and I have it at high end, but if I go to medium even, let's see if that will help it out. I just want to see if that helps bring up the frame rate anymore, or if it's just going to be like this all the time. And I find that every once in a while this simulator does get kind of hung up like this too, where it will have continual low frame rate for a while, and that really didn't help it. This airport, it's a bit of a shame because it looks really good, but if it's going to do this to the performance, well, see, as long as I'm looking away from the terminal building is just too intense. The second I turn the other way here, my frame rate has gone up by a factor of almost 5. just this terminal. There's so much stuff over here, and the lighting. I wonder the other thing too is if I take this into a full-on daytime mode, take away the night lighting. If I take this back to like middle of the day kind of thing here. That, no, even that is really not having an impact. The second I look over here, it's fine. It's really good. The second the airport, the terminal's in my field of view here. That's a real shame, because it looks really good. Anyways, the important thing is that we finished the flight. There it is, it's done. I've even got some alerts here. Let's see what my alerts are. Bank account credited. Haha. Income from other sources. I got $100 from other sources, and I got $80.80 for my flying in July. I did not do much flying in July, apparently. I flew two flights, I guess. I think I did the Milwaukee turn. That was all I got done. Anyways, I got $503, so that's another leg. But anyways, that's done. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Up until the very end there, when the frame rate fell to absolutely 0, it was a pretty good flight. I think everything went pretty well the whole time. Just that last little bit there was where it really kind of tied off here. So I'm going to see what I can find out and see if I can tweak the scenery settings here. Maybe it's just this airplane in combination with this airport that's doing it, but something that just does not like. But anyways, that's going to be it for me for tonight. Stay tuned to the Discord in the channel below for when we're going to have our next stream. It's probably going to be about a week, give or take, where we're going to do the flight from Ottawa back to Chicago. Hopefully we'll have a little bit better frame rate while we're sitting here at the terminal, if I can figure out what's doing it. Because I see a lot of detail here, and maybe that's the problem. It's just too much detail, which would be a shame because it looks really good. But if it's going to kill my sim the way it has killed my sim right now, it's just not feasible. Even at a medium setting, the frame rate is showing me like 7 to 8 right now. So anyways, I'm going to investigate, see if we can't fix that before our next stream, because I really like it. It looks good. But in the meantime, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Stay safe, stay healthy out there, and we'll see you guys all real soon. Take care of yourselves.